How's it going, ladies and bruises? Up, I'll be Sixkilla and welcome back to Ever 17. We have finished repairing the generator. Hopefully we're going to get lights back on. That'd be nice. And hopefully we'll be able to use the elevator to get out of here, because at this stage, I don't want to be down here for good. Let's carry on, shall we? There we opened the valve. We had closed before the repairs. And returned to the generator room. Should we try to fire it up? Takeshi whispered the question as we stood in front of the generator switch. I'm turning it on. Sora, you and I nodded silently. You ready? Just do it. Pipe down, kid. How about a countdown? 50 seconds to... from 50? 45 seconds to... Takeshi continued ignoring her. Takeshi, that's too long. 40, 39, 38. It was irritating. 37, 36, 35. What is wrong with this guy? So irritating. 34. Click. All three of us, except Takeshi, pushed the button. Hey, what are you doing? We still have 34 seconds to go. Nobody wants to wait 34 seconds. Somebody had to push it. You guys can't even wait a little more than a simple 30 seconds? Why wait? This is kind of like a ritual. Anyway, it's very important. The lights lit up all at once. Yes. The light poured down, illuminating even the corners of the room. It was like our field of vision had expanded in an instant. Turn on the FOV slider, right it up. 17. What? The lights came on with 17 seconds left in the countdown. What are you talking about? You don't understand? The power came on back on with 17 seconds left to countdown. Oh, I see. I understood what she was saying. Yeah, but why is she saying it? You mean, if we just push it at 17 seconds, it would have been just right? Yeah. That would have been something. I wasn't sure if Takeshi was over his anger, but he shouldered the heavy toolbox and left the room. We retraced our path until we were in front of the neutral buoyancy elevator. The frozen tuna's empty eyes were waiting for us. The elevator we'd used to come down had already floated up to white stock. But to the left, the floor display was lit up with a number 3. This is heavy. Takeshi groaned as he put the toolbox on the floor of the elevator. You sound like an old man. Shut up. I am an old man compared to you. While they needled each other, I pushed the up button next to the door. The internal and external watertight doors had already sealed automatically. I could hear an airbag being sent to the ballast tank under the floor. Finally, the egg-shaped elevator didn't start to float up. Huh? Are you serious? The sound beneath the floor had stopped and silence had returned. Not again. Why do we keep running into problem after problem? Knowing it was useless, I pushed the up button repeatedly. Of course, I didn't move an inch. Alright, so what do we do? Just as I said that, a monitor just to the right of the round window flickered to life. Takeshi, you, Sora, kid. Sora, where have you been? We looked everywhere for you. I'm terribly sorry. Please accept my apologies. The image of Sora in the monitor bowed deeply. That's not important right now. Sora, so we fixed the generator. It would appear so. Thank you so much, thank you. I think you know this, but we're in this egg, this eye? Yes, I know. The eye is not moving, correct? What should we do? First, in regard to the cause, it is likely the result of a decrease in internal air pressure that has made the device incapable of sufficiently expelling the seawater in the ballast tank. In other words, you mean it isn't buoyant enough? Correct. There are a number of feasible methods for making it rise, but in the end we decided to split into pairs to ride the elevator. In line with the principle of Archimedes, if the buoyancy was insufficient, we had to lighten the load. First, Sora and I got an eye. Sora and Tsugumi were waiting at white stock. Good work, you two. Sora became a welcoming smile at us. Tsugumi just stood there staring at Sora and me. Next came you. And then the tuna took the elevator to return to our floor. This is cold. I noticed that when Tsugumi saw you cradling the frozen fish, she grinned for the first time. Sora, on the other hand. Takeshi, are you alright? Sora ran up to the fish in a panic. Naku, you brought along the fish? Of course, it's food after all. Waste not, want not, right? Forget that for now. More importantly, Takeshi. Sora was still flustered and babbling next to the fish. I wonder if she really thought that Takeshi had turned into a tuna. This is all my fault, oh my gosh, what can I do? I know you're occupied, but... Huh? I think the question is more, what should I do? Did she actually think that he was a fish now? What the fuck? I thought she was like super smart scientist lady. Come on. Maybe that means people actually can turn into fish. We just don't know it. Nearly an hour had passed since the power had gone back online. We gathered in the third floor conference room. Takeshi, Tsugumi, Sora, you, Sora, and I. All 6 of us were sitting in chairs and letting time pass. The rescue team still hadn't come. Our situation didn't show any sign of changing. Takeshi's the only one who's fucking slept. Takeshi's yawns spread from person to person. I desperately tried to keep from yawning. Only Sora had her head down and looked as if she were thinking about something. We were bored silly. I didn't realize that doing nothing could be so hard. Thinking that, I stood up from the chair. What's up? Sora shot me the question, slumped on the chair next to mine. We got all this time, so I thought we'd go for a little walk. Oh, in that case, can you bring me back something to drink? Huh? Why was this a in that case thing? I'm thirsty. I think there was a juice in the kiosk, right? I think so. Okay, thanks. No problem. Oh well, so any kind of juice is okay? Sure, anything's fine. No point sitting around. Great. I feel like the group's hierarchy had sorted itself out. Are we at the bottom? I feel like we're at the bottom. I left the conference room and headed for the kiosk. I had a good idea of where it was from my wanderings around the complex the day before. I went through the rest area on the way. Huh? Something had been left on the bench. It was wrapped chicken sandwiches. I think these were probably sandwiches that Takeshi had made and taken to Tsugumi and Sora. I bet that during the blackout they'd been forgotten. I might as well take these along. I took the sandwiches and put them in my pockets. At the kiosk, I started looking for drinks. There was enough food and drinks for us to survive for days. The only food there was chicken sandwiches and the ingredients to make them, but at least we didn't have to worry about food, meaning we were unfortunately fortunate. I took 6 cans of cola from the kiosk's freezer. Only Sora had asked, but I thought I'd take back enough for everyone. Here we go. Cradling cola in both arms, I started back. Here you go. When I came back, everyone was chatting loudly. Cards were randomly placed on the table facing down. They might have been playing a game. Welcome back. I figured since I was there, that I'd bring back enough for everyone. Thank you, sir. Sora took 2 of the 2 cans and handed one to you. Here you go, Naku. Hey kid, that was sure thoughtful of you. You took the cola from Sora and popped open the tab. Like a pro, she held the fizz down so it wouldn't explode. She didn't go getting herself all drenched in soda. So what were you all up to with the cards? I put the remaining 4 cans on the table. Mental guts. What's that? You don't know mental guts? Never heard of it. Oh. I'll bet it went with your memory. It's a super famous game. I realized that I couldn't remember even these kinds of things. I wondered if I should have been more uneasy about my lost memory than I was. First I thought I'd have a cola. Oh, by the way, I also brought these. I remembered the sandwiches, and holding the can in my right hand, plunged my hand into my left pocket. Huh? What? This here. I removed a wrapped sandwich. Huh? Where'd you get that? Did you make it? It was on the bench in the rest area. Didn't you leave it there, Takeshi? Oh yeah, it's the one I forgot to give to Sora. I left it there during the blackout. Hubbub. I thought that somebody might be hungry. Oh great. You're so thoughtful. You rushed over and violently mussed up my hair. Oh that's right, I have another one. Feeling good about myself, I put the can in my other hand and went to get the sandwich from my right pocket. What's the matter? It's gone. There was nothing in my right pocket. Did you drop it? No way. I didn't think I could have dropped it. Somehow I felt there was something odd going on. Alright, and this is Sora's. Looking, I saw Takeshi holding the sandwich out towards Sora. You didn't eat breakfast, right? No, I'm fine. Don't be polite, I made this. I'm sure it tastes good. Still... Hey, I'm not kidding. I'll vouch for them, they're pretty good. Me too. Sora and I both raised our hands in a show of agreement. Sora, what? You can't eat my food? That's not it. Then what is it? Eat too much yesterday or are you on a diet? No, but No, you have to eat or you'll get weak. Here, take it. He tossed a cola and a chicken sandwich towards Sora. They traced a gentle arc through the air. Ah! Sora suddenly reached out her hands. She reached them out, but Oh. But Sora didn't catch them. No, she couldn't catch them. She didn't avoid them. It wasn't that she was too slow. Sora was there with their hands extended into space. The sandwich had fallen at her feet. The cola had violently slammed into the wall behind her and exploded. The spewing cola didn't get Sora wet. The droplets looked like they flew through Sora's body. The sandwich wrapper covered the silhouette of Sora's sandal. It was as if the two had melded. She's a fucking hologram? It was as if the two had melded together. Huh? Takeshi wasn't the only one surprised. I was confused and without a clue. It couldn't have been that it seemed odd because I didn't know from the start, or maybe it seemed strange because I'd forgotten it. So all I could do is sit there with my mouth agape, my eyes staring at the spectacle. That's why I said I didn't need it. Sora made an embarrassed-looking expression. What? No, that's what Takeshi looked completely puzzled. I meant to toss them as if I was handing them over. That's weird, your hand must have slipped. Excuse me, Takeshi, there's nothing strange about it. But the cola blew up and... Is your clothing alright? Yes. But you're stepping on the sandwich. Your foot. You've got no toes, Sora. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. And just like that, Sora's vanished toes reappeared. But the place where the sandwich was supposed to be wavered unsteadily. I didn't have any idea what that all meant. I guess, Takeshi, that you didn't know? Sora was shuffling embarrassedly. Sora, what in the world are you? For some reason, you gave a huge sigh right next to Takeshi, and then... She burst out laughing. I just had to watch because it was so funny, Takeshi. You really don't listen to anything. What are you talking about? Takeshi was still confused. The explanation at the park entrance? So what about it? Looking around, only Takeshi and I were surprised. A strange expression floated onto Sara's face, but it seemed like she knew what was going on. Tsugumi's face was blank. Apart from Takeshi, it seemed like nobody felt this was anything to be surprised about. Jeez. Tsugumi stood up as if irritated. I can't watch any more of this, it's ridiculous. After spitting those words out, she left the conference room. Maybe we were used to it, but we just watched her go. No one tried to stop her. We'll just leave Tsugumi be. Sora, sorry to bother you, but could you introduce yourself again? Yes, of course. The punctured can had stopped fizzing. Sora took a step forward towards us, carefully, as if avoiding the sandwich and straightening up. After a slight bow, she spoke. I am Sora Akane Gasaki. Akane Gasaki. Sora Akane Gasaki. My official name is LMRSDS 4913A. I'm an artificial intelligence, or AI program in charge of guiding visitors around Lemu. I have been programmed as one part of the Le MMIH system. If you call me from any nearby terminal, I will soon appear within Lemu. My image reaches you through a network supporting this RSD system throughout the complex. I think that there are a few places in the world boasting this kind of technology. So is RSD? But I've never seen one this amazing. It's one of Lemu's big attractions. So that's why Sora disappeared during the blackout. Yes, I'm sorry to have caused you such undue concern. I had finally lost any sense of what was going on. Takeshi looked flustered as well. The conversation had taken off and left me and Takeshi behind. What's RSD? Simply put, it is an image display system that uses a semiconductor to shine a laser directly on your retina. I see. I nodded. I had no clue what she was talking about, but I thought it might have been because I had no memory. It also seemed that any more questions would stall the conversation, so I decided to take a I don't get it but that's okay approach. And it is supporting such an advanced personality. The surprising thing was, Sara seemed to be following the conversation the best. Lemu is fairly perfectionist when it comes to virtual space technologies. My existence is one manifestation of that. Doesn't it require a big system? Yes, but it is much smaller than it would have been 10 years ago. How big? Where is it? I'd like to see it. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to say it. It's a secret. You weren't given the details? That's correct. Well, this is a bit of a different question, but does Sora's personality change based on her memories? The conversation was getting more and more technical. Sara kept badgering Sora with technical questions. Things about samplings and algorithms and structure this and encode that. Jargon was flying around. My head started to hurt. Hey, you? I approached you and tugged on your sleeve. This conversation is crazy complex. What is with Sora anyway? She is a computer ninja of sorts. Stop with the stupid jokes. You puffed at her cheeks as if pouting. It didn't seem she was in the mood for a comeback. Mayo, she's a hacker. Hacker meaning... Batchin, naturally, I knows the hacker. Is Sora a programmer? Yeah, but she says it's all just a hobby. But she's as good as a pro. Just the other day she got first place in some cracking contest. Cracking contest? A contest to break codes. Just so you know, it's not illegal. It was sponsored by some company with code technology. It was legal cracking to test the security of its technology. The company has hackers attack their algorithms. Kind of like a decryption game contest. I guess it's one way of putting it. Oh, so it's a game. Just because you call it a game, I wouldn't take it lightly. There were engineers participating from all over the world. Winning it means that you're one of the world's best hackers. You could even say the best hacker. The best? That's just way too incredible. I know. When it comes to computers, she's a genius. I say. It seems that you truly couldn't tell a person by who a person was by appearances. Apart from being a little MMIH-devious, she just seems like a normal girl. But Sora just kept talking with Sora about things that I couldn't comprehend. There was a gap between who she appeared to be and who she actually was. I kept staring at Sora from the side in a state of semi-awe. In the end, only Takeshi was completely surprised that Sora was AI. You're an employee at Lamu, so of course she knew. Before leaving the room, Tsugumi hadn't seemed that surprised. Sora, as was clear by her questions, had a solid grip on the situation. And the whole situation that we're in was so crazy. I didn't know what to be surprised about. Several hours passed. It seemed the sun was getting ready to set, but deep in the ocean our sense of time was disappearing. Checking my watch was the only way that I knew it was evening. Nothing changed in Lamu. No one had come to pay us a visit, but things hadn't gotten worse. Right now there was no sign of flooding or impending collapse. We'd just been passing the time as we saw fit. For now, we'd all forgotten about not being able to escape. I was in the rest area. I sat on the bench and looked at the blooming flowers without really seeing them. There was no one else around. We were going to meet again at 7 o'clock. Until then I had free time. I was thinking about Sora. The revealing of what she really was. Sora's real identity. AI. Artificial intelligence. A program. A virtual image. Sora didn't really exist. In other words, Sora wasn't a person. But Sora clearly had a will of her own. She could think and act for herself. I knew that much. But with my limited knowledge, everything other than that was beyond me. There were lots of things that I couldn't know. I looked down. The floor was covered with a layer of water. The lights in the ceiling were reflected in the water. It was like the cold light of the moon. I poked my finger into the water. Plop. The water rippled and the surface shook. The light in the water fragmented onto disarray, finally returning to its original shapes. I reached into the water trying to grab the light. But I could only grab a little seawater. I couldn't touch the light. I tried again and again, but I couldn't put my hand on the moon. So, where should I start explaining? I wish you'd start with the basic stuff. Sora was sitting next to me. At least, that's how it appeared to me. I decided to seek out an explanation directly from Sora. What exactly was Sora? It might have been rude asking her outright like this, but I thought that it would be ruder to continue along without really knowing. I see. So we were talking about RSD, right? Yeah. It might be something that you really don't want to talk about. Why would that be? Well, you're not a person, you're Sora, so asking you about systems and stuff might be kind of personal. I don't really know how to say it. I thought that it might be like someone was peeking inside you and kind of unpleasant. My broken explanation brought a soft smile to Sora's face. You don't have to worry about that. What did you just say? I'm Sora, so I am what I am. For example, by explaining about what I am, it's way better for you to understand me. I squeezed my hand shut. Of course I wasn't holding anything. Actually, I just explained all this to Takeshi. Huh? To Takeshi? Yeah. Sora gently put her hand on her chest. I'm different from everyone else, but I want to be the same. That is why I want everyone to know about me. Saying that, Sora looked at me and slightly dropped her eyes. I felt like pieces of the puzzle were scattered on the floor of my mind were about to fall into place. As if enticed by a grin, I became quiet. Well, should I start with an explanation of RST? I concentrated on what she was saying so as to not miss anything. She placed both her hands on her chest. Kid, can you see me? Yes, I can see you. I'm standing right next to you. You sure? I'm positive. But suddenly Sora faced me and reached out toward me, and then, whoa! Sora's hand slipped without his resistance into my chest. Reflexively, I tried to grab her arms, only my hands met with nothing. My hands were in front of my chest, but there was nothing there. Yes. So you are seeing me. However, I'm not right next to you. Saying this, Sora pulled her hand back. RSD stands for Retinal Scanning Display. The display device is not actually a display, rather a weak laser is aimed at the retina. Retina? You mean my eye? Yes. In the ceiling of each room and corridor are semiconductor laser output devices. So the image is being directly reflected on your retina. That sounds dangerous. Image? Yes, my image. Directly on my retina. Holographic screens typically allow for the objects behind them to be visible. This system uses the eyeball as the virtual screen and continuously sends an image synthesized with the background scenery. Well, what about your voice? It sounds like your voice is coming from where your mouth appears. Have you ever heard of 3D sound? 3D sound? EAX! Have you ever listened to music using headphones? Probably, but I can't remember, so I don't know for sure. Ah, that's right, sorry about that. To answer my own question, most people hear sound as if it is reverberating inside the rear center of their head. Inside their head? I tried to visualize what she meant. A melody played in my mind. I could get a vague sense of what she said. Yeah, I think I kinda see what you mean. I think I probably heard something like that before. But the sound is not actually coming from inside your head. I suppose not. But, if you could apply this knowledge and adjust the volume from left to the right to accurately simulate this reverberating sound, that's what the implants are for. The ones that change our voice because of the helium. She talks through those, right? That's why she didn't want us to take them out. Then you could create the illusion that a sound was coming from any direction, above or below, left or right. I see, so that would be the voice converters. I still had both of them in my ears. I removed them. They were about the size of my little finger. In front of me, Sora's mouth moved soundlessly. It was like I couldn't hear her voice. But that wasn't all. Then her image started to get a little fuzzy. Huh? When I replaced my voice converters, Sora returned to normal. The image position is based on the location of the voice converters. So wherever you stand and whichever direction you face, the MMIH is constantly using sensors around the complex that monitor the position of the voice converters to the millimeter. So that when I'm 60 feet behind you, my voice will sound as if I'm exactly 60 feet behind you. When I'm to the right, it sounds to the right. When I'm to the left, it sounds to the left. When I'm under you, it sounds... Under? When you're under? Well... Anyway, that's how it works, do you understand? Now try to face a little to the left. I faced to the left as she said. Sora stood and moved around to my right. Just a moment ago, I said that MMIH is constantly monitoring your position and direction you're facing. At the same time, MMIH is also monitoring the position of your eyeballs, so that even if you move, I still appear in the same place. This means that MMIH scans the image on your eye in this way, so that you can be made to suddenly disappear or reappear in another place. Do you want to see it? No, I think I'll pass. I suddenly imagined Sora disappearing and fleeting around here and there. Somehow it's kind of like a ghost. Yes, I hear that a lot. Being in the same place and looking at the same thing, only some people can see it and some people can't. I've never seen one, but if ghosts really do exist, I imagine they exist much the same way that I do. Now I get it. But there's something that bothers me. What's that? Sorry, you can't be in more than one place at a time. For example, you couldn't be in one room talking to me and another talking to Sarah? Theoretically it's possible, however, the way that I'm designed I can't do that. Why not? I imagine it is to help maintain an image of reality for the visitors. This is starting to sound a lot like Quantum Suicide, isn't it? Isn't that what I is like in Quantum Suicide? So there's only one Sora in the world. Without that kind of setting, visitors would get confused. That, and was the policy of my designer. The policy of my designer was to create me as a character with an independent personality. That reminds me, I've heard the same thing about the United Land characters. There was only one of each character in the park. Like in a story, there can't be any one character in two places at the same time. The time for our gathering was getting near, so Sora and I headed to the conference room. It seemed strange that Sora, who could teleport anywhere instantly, was walking. Maybe she was doing it to humor me? I was wondering about the laser retina scan. So, if I were in a place that the laser couldn't reach, then I couldn't see it? Of course not, but the scanning devices are located in every room of the complex, and there are mirrors embedded in the walls, ceilings, and floor to reflect the images. So almost no matter where you are, I can be displayed. So there are no blind spots? That is the way it's designed. However, there is one major flaw. Flaw? I'm only seen when someone looks at me. What? I mean, did I cease to exist when no one is looking at me? For example, if the 5 of you here all closed your eyes at once, at that moment I would cease to exist. I casually held up my hand in front of my eyes. I covered my view forward and looked down near my feet. There was no sign of Sora next to me. It was as if she'd vanished, or never been there in the first place. Surprised, I removed my hand and Sora reappeared in the corridor. The outline of Sora's sandals blurred dimly in the water. Someone has to see me. I have to be seen in order to exist. Vision. That someone's eye actually creates me. Kid, when you close your eyes, I disappear. Eventually we reached the conference room. Sora's face was one big smile. But somewhere in her smile, I seemed a hint of sadness. At least, it appeared that way to me. It was nighttime. In the ocean, it was only slightly darker than before. Fortunately, the damage to Lemieux hadn't worsened. I had a light dinner, eating the chicken sandwich that Takeshi had made. I mean, that's all there is to eat, right? Chicken sandwiches. Incidentally, we'd gotten rid of that frozen tuna because nobody knew how to cut it up. After eating, there was really nothing to do. Takeshi's yawn was contagious. Gosh, I'm sleepy. Well, there's really nothing to do either. Everyone was slouched in chairs, just spacing out. There was no impending danger, no new developments. Our situation was unchanged, and it felt like time had stopped. Takeshi, you're such a slob. You said, but she sounded tired. And stop dawdling. Look, there's no reason to go wandering around the complex now, right? We're just gonna have to wait for help to come anyway, right? Yeah, I suppose. Alright, I'm off for a little bit. Rubbing her neck and trying to relax her stiff shoulders, you stood up. What? Are you going somewhere? Yeah, nowhere in particular, just a walk. I've got to move around or I'll get tired. Hey, I got a great idea. Sora raised her hand and stood. An idea? Ladies and gentlemen, we shall partake in a game to give us some exercise. Alright, but what kind of game? Ninja tag. That might be a bit... Well, how about normal tag? Sora seemed up for the idea. She can cheat, she can teleport. I suppose that would be okay. Alright everybody, let's play. Hey, are you expecting to play some kids game? What about you, kid? In or out? What? Me too. We've been talking about everyone participating, so you're playing too. I'm not gonna play. I'm out too. I meant that everyone apart from Tsugumi is playing anyway. I said I'm out. Alright, I'm in. I was pretty much sick of the boredom. Alright, it's settled. We have 5 competitors vying for the title of champion. You, Sora, Takeshi, and the kid. He said he's out more than once. But don't you think normal tag would be boring? You're right. How about kick the can? Sora, you should have a good grasp of simple games like this. Not that something a little out of the ordinary, we all thought. And then... oh well. Tsugumi stood up from her chair sluggishly. She walked briskly toward the corner of the room and flipped off the light switch. What are you thinking? It's dark. How about that? Satisfied? I'm fed up. Even I'm about to go crazy. Tsugumi shot us a nasty look and left the room. What was that about? Who knows? Maybe we were talking too much for her. But still, why turn out the lights? What does she mean, even her? She's the one that's lost it. She'll be back after a while. Hey kid, would you mind getting the light? Sure. I went to go switch on the lights. Wait, what is it? Since the lights are off, why don't we try the game with them off? Huh? We could play flashlight tag. We'll play tag. No, kick the can in the dark. Sora took one of the empty cans from the table. We'll call it Yamioni. That sounds cool. Let's go with that. I concur. It's a bit more exciting than normal tag. Of course, Takeshi's good with it, right? Jeez, whatever. So we unanimously agreed, except for Tsugumi, to play kick the can in the dark. We decided who was it using rock, paper, scissors. Ready, set, go. Damn, I lost. Takeshi was out on the first try. Alright, so Takeshi is it first. Then it's settled. Good luck. Everybody was grinning at Takeshi. Takeshi looked about as sorry as it was possible for him to look. There you go, Takeshi. I handed the empty can to Takeshi. But hiding anywhere is okay, as long as it's on the 3rd floor. Okay, let's hide. Ready? Wait a sec. Takeshi held up a hand hurriedly, stopping you from sending everyone off. You, what did you just say? Let's hide. No, before that. You can hide anywhere on this 3rd floor? Are you serious? Not just the conference room? This room's too small, and there aren't many places to hide. But the whole 3rd floor? Oh, of course. The areas you can't walk from here are off limits, and the emergency corridors and stairs are no good either. That's still too big. It's not fair to the person who's it. While he's looking, he's sure to get it from someone else. I think it's fine. It's not fine. The game won't work. That's a major problem. Gosh, he sure complain a lot. Well, he would certainly appear to be at a disadvantage. I will dim the light on the 3rd floor, but in return, I'll make it so that sounds carry better. If sounds carry, and you can hear when someone moves across the corridor with water, that will give the person who is it an advantage. And I'll make it so that you know where people are moving. I'll synthesize footsteps and dispatch the data to voice converters. Alright, that sounds better. Oh, but what should I do if I should get to the can first? Huh? Oh, that's right. You can't kick the can. We'd only just noticed. If we played tag, we would just have to ban Sora from jumping about as an image. Then I'll team up with you. I'll make it so that Sora and I have to be within a yard of each other when we hide or when we're it. So I can kick the can. Okay, let's try it this way. Okay, thanks. On top of that, we made Sora promise not to use the bioscan or Lemieux to monitor the location of anyone. Yeah, that makes it fair then. Alright, all set. It looked like everyone was ready. So I'll count. 1, 2, 3. As Takeshi started counting, we dashed out of the conference room. We left the room in a group. Splash, splash, splash. The sound of our stepping through water sounded deeper than before. I get it. This is what she meant by making the sound bigger. I thought that we should have to pay attention to which sounds were our own and which others. And we'd have to determine which footsteps belonged to the person that was it. But for the person that was it was easier because everyone else was the enemy. That pretty much negated any advantage we might have had. At least that's what I thought. After we'd run a fair bit... Okay, stop. You, who had been running at the front of the pack, stopped us. What's up? If you don't hide, he'll find you. Don't worry about that, just listen. It appears you have some kind of strategy. Strategy? Yes, exactly right. If we continue like this, then we'll just get separated and hide. But that increases the chance that we'll lose. But that's the way the game works, isn't it? You're so naive. In games, a man is supposed to want to win. But aren't you supposed to be a girl, you? I stopped myself from saying that in the nick of time. But there's no way to guarantee a win, right? Mayor, is that what you really think? You said this as you played with Sarah's braids. Well, hurry up and tell us already. If you think about what we have, and what Takeshi doesn't, you'll get it in a flash. What we have? What Takeshi doesn't. Numbers, we are many, Takeshi is one. Yes, that's it. Alright, we're gonna stop here because we're super duper out of time for today. Again, we're just fucking around waiting for someone to save us. How did she... Whatever. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.